What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Collectors Mingle every Sunday now at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:34 p.m. Eastern on this fine Sunday, February the 26th. We got a great show and, of course, an Avengers level panel for you guys this fun evening. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. There's not too much Hot Toys news, so we're going to talk about maybe some Hot Toys here and there and then some other things here and there. I think it's going to be pretty exciting to balance that out. The Infinity Studios, Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight, a life-size bust, maybe the best likeness of Christian Bale that has ever graced this earth. The top 3 Batman Hot Toys. Like I said, we are going to talk some Hot Toys tonight, and that's one of them. Then we're going to talk about the InArt magnetic base for the Joker. I kind of want to bring that up a little bit, see what the panel's thoughts are on that. Maybe some JazzInc stuff, because I just interviewed Yost today. That was pretty fun. Collectors, things they should know about Hot Toys if they're new to the game. I think that's going to be fun from some experienced collectors here. Daredevil. There's an N1 Starfighter out there, but it might not be the N1 Starfighter that you're thinking. I guess we're going to find out. That said, guys, let's roll the intro. Yo, what is up, people? Guys, we have truly an Avengers level panel this evening because we have the young Avengers here in Riley Reviews. He's the Kate Bishop.
Teen Titan.
Yeah. Riley, you're muted, but I will say, yeah, you are. Are you the Teen Titan, Carlos? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
he's not teen anymore, though. He's not teen.
Yeah,
he's
I'm 20, man. I'm adult.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
He's Kate Bishop. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, Kate Bishop. Well, it's good to have you, all of you guys. And like I said, we have a slightly bigger panel than usual. Usually, I think we have about 4 people, including myself. So I'm going to try to shut up and let you guys do most of the talking. That said, let's start now. Riley, how are you doing this fine evening, bro? You're not working.
Dude, I know. I'm not working, man. So, I always got to hit you up.
Did you get fired?
It's mingling. Yeah, I got fired. I got fired the other day. Actually, funny story. No, yeah, I got laid off. No, speaking of which, at my work, the first thing that's ever happened, just wanted to give a shout out. Someone actually watched my YouTube channel who I was serving because I'm a server. So that guy literally knew my YouTube channel. He said, "Oh, it's Riley Reviews," and I was like,
"Dude, that's awesome."
Never happened to me ever. So I was just like, "No chance." And
that's never happened.
Thank you so much, guys. Exactly,
yeah. Dude. That's
what are the odds of that? Honestly, like, that's crazy. The odds.
Riley, that shows you're making an impact in the world, bro. So hey, you're doing something good.
I love that.
Or
thank you. But yeah, shout out to that person.
Or a very memorable face.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the balding, right? Because I got the hair on. But I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. Thank you for the invite, of course. And yeah, let's get to mingling, man. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, Mr. Lael, 1/6 scale man, 2099. How are you doing this fine evening, bro? I think you might be muted at the moment, but I wanted to save you for a second because I saw you were gearing up to talk, and I was like, he's going to talk and be muted. So it's all good, bro. How you doing?
Good, man. Just getting back from Washington, D.C. Spent the whole weekend down there with Toya for her birthday. So yeah, it was pretty good, man. It was fun. We went to like a sort of like an outdoors farmers market that they actually have every weekend. So managed to go there. It was more of a plant-based vegan sort of like farmers market where they have like all vegan produce. They actually just tell you about different things. It was like an enriched sort of like atmosphere. So it was dope, bro. Like I've never seen anything like that before, especially out in the DC
area. Farmers markets are the best.
Yeah,
it was super dope.
There's a lot of bitches there too.
Is that what it is, Carlos? Yeah. Well, not in this case. So, but Leo, that's amazing, bro. That you got to do that. We don't really have a lot of those. I feel like maybe we do, Carlos. We don't really have a ton of those near me. I guess maybe I just don't know about them. But farmers markets, because I live in
you have farmers.
Yeah, we got tons of farmers. So yeah, but
let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to the what is it called? It's the fashion mall near the Pentagon or something like that. The Pentagon Fashion Mall. Yeah, it's right near. It's like if you're on like the right. It's like right before. It's like near Virginia, like near. If you're going right before you go to Richmond, it's like right there, bro.
Nah, dude, is it cool? Did you go today?
Yeah, it was pretty good, bro. It was like really, a big, decent looking mall, man.
Nice.
But yeah, it was decent, bro. Like I mean, for there, only thing that kind of like got on my nerves was like those if there's people out there like, and if they have like those little side hustles, not the side hustles, but like the many little shops that they have,
right, like in the middle of the mall,
and they're trying to bring you in. And
yeah, dude,
like
I just act like I'm on the phone now.
Yeah, bro, like it's just annoying, man.
Yeah, it is. They'll stop you for anything, bro.
Bro,
They'll
it's
stop
like,
you.
and
Let
if
me
you walk
get
past
let me get at you one
again,
second, bro. Yeah,
and if you walk past again, it's like, yo, you see me the first time, like, why are you asking me again? Like, if I'm saying no the first time, that means the entire time I'm saying no.
I assume they're
So, like,
commission based positions, so that's
Yeah.
probably why. Yeah, and I get it, but it's just kind of obnoxious. Like, I just want to walk through the mall, like it's But I haven't gone to DC as much. I've been in the Smithsonian a bunch and things like that, but I haven't even gone to see a Nationals game, which I really want to do. So, but yeah, DC's pretty cool. Anyway, happy to have you here, Leo. Carlos, Mr. Place for Collecting. How you doing this fine evening, bro?
I'm doing good. I have a random question.
What's up?
So obviously we were talking about this in the back, but so if you didn't know my age, and I guess the people in the chat can, if you don't know my age, you can ask or you can guess, how old do I look?
50.
Shut up, Riley.
That baby chin strap beard, dude, I'd say like 17,
Baby
18.
chin strap beard.
Baby chin strap beard.
All right, I'll
It's
put.
adequate.
I'll put like multiple.
Who told you
choice
that?
question.
You don't think so? I think it's fine. I mean, I've seen one.
Mario has a full beard, but I mean, he's the beard
god.
god. It's going to be a little
beard
bit.
is like
just let it go. Don't embarrass yourself, dude. Just
Can we say it's like a? Can we say it's a 7?
Just cut it off,
There you
Carlos.
go.
You're
Let's cut it off,
embarrassing
bro. Cut it off. Straight up.
What is this? Like a 7? A 6.5?
That's a 5.
No, it's not a 5.
But
5
Mario's
is
like God
I
tier.
can't
He's
even-
going to
I can't
raise you
even get you
low.
there, bro.
I mean, that's not.
I'm a
Maybe
0,
dude.
so
That's like
5 is good
comparing
for you.
Kratos and the guy at the gym. It's just not. It's not fair.
I think my beard is just enough where like it's not like laughable, but it's also not God tier. It's like just okay.
You
It's
It's pretty
Six.
laughable. It's pretty laughable.
Well, we got a poll running right now in the chat. So
Everyone's saying I'm in my 20s. That's not bad.
Yeah. So
I was thinking
most
like
people
late.
say
guess we'll see. By the time we introduce everyone, we'll see where the poll ends up.
All right, let's
Mr.
see.
Mario, how you doing this fine evening, El Professoro?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Just happy to be here on a Sunday night, and yeah, looking forward to tonight's discussion, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, bro. Ryu in the background, Mario. I didn't.
Yo, I literally just cracked this thing open, man. I got it yesterday. Last one from Alter Ego Comics, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember you
I just
saying
went
that,
looking
actually,
for it. Yeah, went looking for it, man. It sold out everywhere. Actually found one. I was like, shit, let me get it. I was actually messaging around for a code to see if anybody had some sort of discount. Nobody did, so I was like, screw it. It's the last one here.
Right.
Gotta get it. So it's a beautiful figure, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
First
I
pricing
tried. My
piece
beard
actually
is
messing
laughable.
with is hella squishy, dude.
It's really okay. Yeah.
It really is, man. It's so weird, but I'm looking forward to messing around with it.
Is the body feel really high quality though? Because Carlos has like been saying really good things about it.
It's visually, it's insanely good, man.
Yeah, right.
You know,
the
like I
feet?
said,
Yeah,
I just the feet are a bit unsightly as far as like where the ankles cut, that split.
Right.
Yeah.
But it looks,
With
it
small
looks dope.
shoulders.
It looks dope, man. I mean, this thing moves around. There's wires everywhere, dude. I mean, it'll do what I want it to. Well, I'm assuming it will, based off some of the videos that I've seen so far. So
Yeah.
I plan on putting it through its paces to see what I can do with it, man. So, and probably later on fly layout down here, dude, so you can like learn me a little bit because I'm getting hands on it. And
Teach
Look
us
at this
posing,
Ryu.
dude. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to send my or at least get my Muhammad Ali together, bro.
Dude, I can't wait for that,
so-
Leo. I'm getting
Yeah.
that too. I'm getting that. Yeah.
Is that Ryu really sold out everywhere?
try to find one.
I think he might be, bro. I think he might be. Yeah. Or maybe I
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
not a big
Maybe
bet.
Kit or
Sideshow?
someone might have. Maybe you could find him overseas, but as far as U.S.,
Sideshow's
yeah.
waitlisted.
Yeah.
What about Big
Yeah.
Bat too?
So I've just been waitlisted for a little while, I think, on that figure.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So Jason
So-
says my beard is laughable.
Well, Chasen has a
Jason
full
would
beard,
know.
too.
Jason would
Yeah,
know. dude.
he has,
Jason's
he
my
has
dude,
like a
man. He would know.
full man's beard.
Again, I'm not saying I'm elite. I'm saying I'm just.
But you said
adequate.
it's not laughable, and we're all disagreeing with you, bro. So just let it go. What's the first topic for
like-
tonight, bro?
Yeah.
laughable.
Dude,
it's
it's
like Pedro
fun.
Pascal.
Yeah.
Pedro
Right.
Let's put up a picture of Pedro Pascal, and then we.
Yeah,
can
Pedro
talk about,
Pascal's
okay,
beard is pretty patchy. Not gonna lie. I mean, but
That's
he's
like a
great
five.
Yeah,
guy.
but everyone,
That's like,
but
you
everyone
should-
calls him,
you should
but
shave
everyone calls him Daddy though, so he gets a pass.
Yeah, he
I
does get
guess.
called. Well, he
Oh
is
my.
he is
He's
Space
famous.
Daddy, and he's
Zaddy.
Zombie Daddy. Yeah,
He's all
Yeah.
zombie.
yeah, he's Zombie Daddy and Space Daddy. That's what he is. So, anyway, guys, yeah, we do actually have, I guess, a first topic of sorts before we address the chat real quick because we got a super chat. Mr. John, thank you. That's a nice beard right there. That's a nice.
There you
beard.
go.
So, John,
Yep.
So, John,
That
appreciate you,
color.
bro. Thanks for showing off flexing the
I didn't
beard.
say it was
Hey,
a 10.
guys. Saw Will on Justin's show last week, and they talked about third party. What is third/unauthorized exactly, and what cautions should one take when considering a figure? This is actually a really, really good question. So does anyone want to take this? Basically, third party is unlicensed. Does anyone else want to add to that?
So you can go to jail if you have it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. The FBI can show up and arrest you.
Jail. I don't know.
What is third unauthorized exactly, and what caution should one take when considering a figure? Interesting.
Because I think we all own a decent amount of third party. I
mean,
know Riley, you've done some research.
I don't.
License.
Mario, you don't?
No, I don't think I have any license really, but you wouldn't expect the best quality, that you have right now with Hot Toys and shit. I mean, there's some of these studios that are coming up.
Yeah.
Exactly, depending on the company. I mean, I actually have a couple coming. Shout out to Mars Toys, man. So
you got the Mars Toys. Nice.
They got good stuff.
And that LM Nathan Drake, I had to put that on her too, man. So
nice.
Yeah,
Nathan
man.
Drake.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Mario, we talked about that Nathan Drake. Yeah, I remember that. But essentially, so to answer the question, third party unlicensed is essentially a figure that does not have a legal license to distribute or produce. So, like if you're talking about Game Toys or Soso Toys or Mars Toys, all those people, essentially a lot of the stuff you'll find on like 1/6 Kit or other places like that. 1/6 Outfitters, they sell some licensed stuff too, but they sell a lot of unlicensed things. So really, when you're buying those, you kind of have to be aware, I think, of sometimes what happens is though, like Toys Era will be Infamous Toys or whatever, and you kind of have to if you've been around long enough, you can recognize, oh, that's a Toys Era figure. You can pretty much tell.
You gotta do your research.
Yeah, you gotta do your research, and I would say don't just jump on every third party figure. Sometimes they take a lot longer than you might think. Like Lim Toys, I told Mario and I told people, like, expect that Nathan Drake to probably be like a year and a half or 2 years. Like I think it's like Arthur Morgan took about that long, and he just got delayed, and he finally came out great. But with third-party figures, I think you just have to be cautious and know what you're getting into. And they're generally priced lower. They ship, hopefully, generally faster, but not always. And the quality, like Mario said, can sometimes be... Hot Toys is the king for a reason.
Yeah, so it's not like Hot Toys.
It's not usually. It depends on the company, but...
Paint apps and stuff like that won't be up to
right, not quite as good. But sometimes you can reach a superior level if it's a character you truly love. Like Sephiroth, like I think is elite. Like I love it. And Pop Toy Scorpion, I love it. But it just depends on the character. But... third-party unlicensed and unlicensed product, essentially. Yeah, that's the long short of it.
There you go.
Okay, we answered that. Maybe that can be a clip. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. But let's see. Do we have time? Okay, guys. I might not address the chat tonight just because I feel like we have a lot of topics and a slightly bigger panel to get through. Maybe I can come back if anyone wants to add anything. But I want to jump into our first topic. So there is a life-size bust that was announced by Infinity Studios, and I know none of us here necessarily are bust collectors, but I really want to talk about this because I think this likeness, from what a lot of people are saying, is actually the best Christian Bale likeness that we have seen so far. So you can see here, this is on Spec Fiction. I'll zoom in a bit here. But $4,119, pretty pricey. It is a 1-to-1 life size. It's free shipping. You can get this other places, obviously, so do your own research if you're considering it, see where you want to get it. But you get a Christian Bale likeness here with rooted hair, obviously the whole works with silicone and stuff like that. He's holding the bat cow, and I gotta say this looks pretty dope. As not someone who's not a bust guy, this is still pretty exciting in terms of the artistry on display here. So Riley, as someone like yourself who likes this better than the Batman, what do you think about this Christian Bale?
Yeah, I love how you start with that. This one, honestly, I think this one's like really impressive and really amazing looking. Infinity is one of those companies where a lot of their busts, like for the most part, are like really close to spot on. Like their likeness is really good on a lot of their busts they do. Obviously, it's a lot easier given that it's like a whole life-size version. You probably have more like paint apps to do, better job to do on that. But I mean, it could also turn out a lot worse with other companies. But I think that this is an incredible bust. I'm obviously not going to be one to pick it up, but I know a lot of people don't really like doing busts because it's obviously not their full body. It kind of throws them off. I'd say that I'm a fan of busts. I'd probably never collect it just because of like space reasons, having that much space, and obviously the price. Each of these are probably like $4,000, so it's pretty crazy. But I'd say that for people who like want to collect life-size stuff, this would be one that if you're a big fan of the Dark Knight, I mean, there's some certain shots where it's like not as much Bale, but like most of the photos taken here, they're like 9.5 to like it's like it looks exactly like him almost. Pretty unreal. And the rooted hair also looks really well done. The base is cool. I like how it has like the light up logo of the Dark Knight. I didn't notice that the first time. That's a really nice touch that they included. And then the back is like the tumbler. That's pretty cool. I think that's like an interesting take to go. And you can also have him like he's holding the cowl. I think that was a really good idea from them. I really like that, how you can have the full showcase of the not only the cowl, but obviously the Bruce Wayne likeness. But yeah, this is pretty impressive. I'm happy. But another thing though, with Infinity, most of the time from their prototype finals, they're like pretty close to like the prototype. But I remember the Harley Quinn I saw, like I think it was a month ago, that had a drastic decline. So that's something that you also have to think about. I don't know why that exactly happened per se, but I know that a lot of collectors were like, oh, what happened to this from the proto to final? It like looks a lot more different. And when you're paying $4,000, you really do want that prototype. But for the most part, Infinity has had a bunch of hits. I know that they did the tactical suit Batman. That was one that was really good. They just did the Joker, I believe. That was like pretty. I think it was pretty amazing. I think the hair looked a little too long, but other than that, it was a standout. But this one, I mean, hopefully it turns out like the prototype, because this can be like Grail status at some time, honestly, because this is really, really amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see from these companies, like Queen made that Loki bust, which I think is just incredible. But I'm with you, Riley. I'm not as much of a bust guy. I put a poll up, and I assume we're going to get pretty lopsided numbers in terms of would you actually buy a bust. I think, you know, with this audience, we're probably not going to get many of those. But I love seeing what Infinity is doing as far as their half-scale statues and their one-to-one bust, and, you know, whatever else they choose to do in the future. This is pretty exciting. So, Leia, what do you think about this bust, bro? I know this is pretty pricey and probably not something any of us would actually buy, but what do you think about how this turned out, or, you know, how the proto looks?
Nah, I think it's a beautiful piece, bro. Like, I mean, that's like one of the best likenesses of him that I've actually seen in a while. I think they nailed it. There's no ends, you know, there's no bust about that. Like, it's incredible. You know, not something that I collect. Like, I don't do busts, but, you know, to look at this, you see Christian Bale all the way through. I think Infinity, they definitely nailed it. Again, I mean, it might be different from a different perspective for like people who actually collect busts. They might have more of a better perspective on it than I do. But from what I'm seeing, you know what I mean, it looks good. Like, it's, you know, looking at the head sculpt, it's almost like, you know, something that you would want to see in either a quarter scale or a 1/6 scale type of figure. But I think, you know, for what they've given us, it looks really, really, really decent. Nice touch with the cowl, you know, with the expression, you know, so definitely, I think it's incredible. It's really, really, really decent. You know, and I think a person who actually has it, but it's crazy. Like, it's because I think about it, it's like, yo, who, like, literally, it would be strange for me to have a bust of someone in my home, because it would be kind of scary. But at the same time, you know what I mean? And, you know, look, it would be decent. And now the duo, like you see in the back, the Catwoman, that looks good as well, Selena Kyle. So to have both of them together, that would look really, really, really dope.
It's true.
But for me, unless, you know, I think it's when I look at a bust, it's more like seeing it in sort of like a museum type of piece, or seeing somebody who, you know, like somebody who's like an upscale, has like a really decent home, like a, you know, like, and you can have those pretty much in the section looking good. For me, having it down, it's not gonna make sense. It's like, no, it's just not gonna work. But you cannot take away from the artistry. It looks incredible.
Yeah, it really does, bro. And I'm excited to see what they produce next. So that said, Mario, El Professoro Beard God, what do you think about this Christian Bale 1-to-1 life-size bust here from Infinity? I mean, it's pretty impressive.
This is more than a bust, man. I mean, a bust usually cuts off, you know, at the arms. It just goes in a V shape.
True. I love that there's arms.
There's arms on this thing, man. You're literally getting half of a person, dude, from the waist up, you know, which is incredible. Go back and look at the rest of their busts, and they're all like that, bro. One of the things that's questionable is why is the back of the tumbler, the exhaust, why is it where it's at? I took a look at that picture. I'm like, that's kind of sus. I think I wouldn't have done that, because that's
Oh, you think it's like booty hole like?
I love it. Right there, bro. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Why? No.
It's the tumbler hole. Yeah, I got you.
It really is, man. Wrong exhaust. Anyway, aside from that, man, it's an exit, beautiful not piece, dude. It's don't knock it till you try it, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but nah, it's an absolute beautiful piece, man. I think the head sculpt, they blow J&Ds out of the water 100%, 1,000-fold.
They did. Yeah.
And for another $1,000, I would rather get this than that J&D set any day. any day of the week, dude.
Dude, I
They've
probably would.
They've done an incredible look at the detail in this particular photo, dude, with the with all the details in his face, all the little bumps down to the stubble. If you zoom into that stubble, you see it on his chin, dude. You see it on his lip. Even with just the stubble on his face, man, it's looking way better than what Carlos has. You know what I mean? It's freaking
way better.
The artistry's on point, man. It's an absolute gorgeous piece, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, I love it too, bro. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Well, Carlos, what do you think, bro? Is this something you're considering? Because I know we talked about this a little bit, but I didn't know if you were actually considering picking it up, considering, you love The Dark Knight. I think all of us do here, but what do you think about this?
So I think Infinity clearly, there's going to be the best likeness. I think it's as good as it gets, honestly. I don't see this like someone doing something better at this point because it's easily like a 9.5 plus, right? I think it's as good as it's going to get when it comes down to a collectible. I actually really like that the carbon fiber right on the chest and all that. It's not that gold that J&D is using. It's actual black, and I think it looks a lot better. I wish J&D, went with that black part because Infinity, man, this looks amazing. What's always crazy to me though is that this is $4,200 for half a body with a silicone and rooted hair, but if you add legs, it's $12,000. I didn't know legs were worth $8,000, which I never understood that part. It's like $8,000 for legs and the base. I was like, this comes with the base already. I was like, okay, I guess. But this is really cool, man. I think this is great. When it comes down to this, hopefully, Queen Studios are going to make that half scale, Bale. And I'm going to compare it to this. Obviously, it's going to be half the price, and I know it's going to be obviously half the scale. But I think this looks amazing, man. It'd be really cool. That I believe, and we've said that Infinity is actually, at the top of their game. And, we have J&D coming into 1.6, Queen came into 1.6. Dude, imagine if Infinity was to go into 1.6. That would be pretty cool.
Nah, dude,
especially with this likeness,
community would scare them away, bro.
You think so?
I'm
we were saying, Mario, the 1.6 community can be pretty critical.
Brutal.
We can be rough. Yeah.
I'm surprised Queen Studios isn't dipped yet, to be honest.
Queen is good.
Queen Studios is like, fuck this.
Let's see you guys.
Yeah. InArt's like, now
Queen Studios is good, but this right here, man, this is next level. So it'd be cool if they were to come into 1.6. I think that'd be pretty awesome. But aside from that, if Infinity was to ever make a life size and it has this, bro, I would highly consider picking that up because
I would assume they probably would just take the same head sculpt, and just.
I mean, they already have half the body, so.
Right, maybe they will.
Yeah,
dude,
$8,000.
I can't imagine, Carlos, how good that would be because I'm with you, bro. On the armor looks great. Like seeing
Queen is gonna do a 1-to-1 Dark Knight.
If this was quarter scale, Batman Begins with this kind of quality, but full, the full figure, I would highly consider that.
I think I would too, Mario. Yeah, I think I would too.
Robert Pattinson, maybe.
But life size, if it was still 1-to-1, Adam West 66. Day one, dude. I'm there.
1-to-1 Adam West.
1-to-1 Adam West, bro. Hell yeah. Yep.
Well, I always said, Mario, Carlos and I talked about this. The 1-to-1 I'd probably consider would be Loki. That would probly be, like if they ever did
for you, bro. Come on, everybody knows that.
Would you say
that like it's a surprise,
but
bro.
1-to-1, that's so expensive, Mario. That's so expensive.
Yeah.
Would you do
that's the ultimate.
What'd you say, Carlos?
Pennywise,
maybe. Maybe.
You have half, so.
Yeah, I have a half scale. And dude, honestly, I wish I had more half scale. I want to get more. I can have 3, I think.
Half scale is the best scale.
Half scale's great.
You've been talking to Josh. You've been talking to McCoy, haven't you?
I got to talk to Josh more. Yeah,
Statue guys.
Josh does love half scale. Yeah. So we got to get Leo on the half scale train. We'll get it. And Riley there, of course. We'll get Riley.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, please.
And then
1-to-1 Terminator. Damn.
Yeah. 1-to-1 Terminator. That would be great too. That'd be great. Anyway, guys, let's move on to the next topic. We have a super chat there real quick. Tyrone, thank you so much, Tyrone Tarvin. My wife and I met Riley a few weeks ago. Face lit up as soon as I brought up his channel. Keep up the great work, Riley and crew. Carlos looks 35.
Dude, Tyrone.
Glad he threw shade like right at the end of that.
God. Hey, shout out to Tyrone, bro. So that's what I was talking about. So shout out to him. That's
you
awesome.
Can't even see his photo, Carlos. So
yeah, exactly.
He looks old from here.
He was out with his wife getting at the bar, and he just walked up to me and he's like, "Oh, I know who you are," and I was like, "That just like made my night." So shout out to you, Tyrone. That's awesome.
Nice, bro. Are those real penguins in the Avatar?
I don't know.
Dude, Riley, if someone walked up to you and said, "I know who you are," wouldn't you be like scared shitless out of your mind, bro?
Well, no, he
I'd be
said my
like-
YouTube
I'm
channel first.
Okay.
He was
All
like, oh,
right.
Yeah,
All
because if he
right.
just said like, I know who you are, like that would be.
Straight up,
yeah,
I'll
I'd be
be
a little
like,
freaked out.
But if he was like, I know Riley
Nah.
reviews, then you'd be like, oh, okay,
He
I'm
was-
less freaked out.
He was a nice guy. He was
Yeah,
awesome.
less freaked out. Anyway,
doesn't wear
thank you so
socks.
much. Thank you so much, Tyron. Now you've offended Carlos. So
Brian's
thank you so
here.
much. I know. So, guys, I want to ask about something, and I think we've talked about this maybe a little bit in the community. I've seen different posts. I've seen a lot of very satisfied and excited customers now that they've been receiving these, and then some that have had a couple issues here and there. So I want to talk about this real quick so we can have at least a discussion so people are kind of aware as to what's going on. So the InArt Joker magnetic base, how much does this actually matter? I know I talked about this on Lael's show, and I know I mentioned it in my review, and it's been mentioned by Dante, I know, Manahawk Collectibles, and it's been mentioned by other collectors. This is just one example. This was a photo posted in one of the groups that wasn't actually the person who posted its photo, it was someone else's. Who knows? Maybe this actually fell over. Maybe someone knocked it over on purpose or just tapped it over and then took a picture. I don't know. But we have had some reported issues from these. I've seen a lot of, like I said, super, super happy customers satisfied, but some kind of wary and concerned about the magnets. So that said, Riley, I want to ask you this question. I'm pretty sure you got this Joker, right?
Yes, I have that.
Yeah, you got the
rooted.
2-pack, the rooted?
Yeah.
Okay. So does this concern you at all with the magnetic base and even the magnetic hands? Because I know, some collectors have been concerned about this. How do you feel generally about it?
I think it's interesting. So I'm kind of on the fence about it because I've seen a lot of different experiences personally, because I feel like a lot of people who had the figure who aren't even content creators who have it say it. I've even seen on their Instagrams or like their Facebooks where they're like, I've had no issues with it. It's a super strong magnet. It hasn't fallen. But then we have other collectors who are posting this to where it's falling and etc. So it's kind of a weird one. Like I'm convinced either it might be like the person who has it, or it might be specific like figures have this issue. Like maybe the magnets are weaker in certain figures, while people who got other figures, they're not as weak. It's kind of a weird one to me. But I think that the best thing that we've talked about for a while is, obviously, InArt's going to learn from this. I'm sure that they've seen it all over Facebook because it's been like the biggest thing in these past couple of weeks, because obviously this figure was riding a lot of hype, and I'm sure that they're listening to this. I hope that they do, like people have talked about, having I think the biggest like thing to help this would have the whole base being magnetic rather than specific portions of it being magnetic. That way it'd be a lot stronger, and you can also pose it in any way you'd want. I'm more for this Joker figure, the figure itself, like people have talked about, they've had no issues. Obviously, the sculpt, the rooted hair, people who's had it, they had no problems. The tailoring's amazing. So I'm not too fussed about the Joker one because I'm not really planning on doing any crazy poses or any outlandish poses. But like people talked about, maybe even with museum poses, they'd fall, like you said, Will. So I don't know. I'm kind of just on the fence about it. But one thing I'd say is for the Batman one coming up in a couple months, that's going to be one where I feel like I'm going to pose a lot more and do a lot more dynamic poses. So I'll be a little bit more worried in that sense of it falling. And like people have talked about, they have just thought of getting a separate base. I know, Will, you got a separate base with the crotch grabber because
I did.
You're all about the crotch grabbers. You don't want them falling. So you got to make sure to have that. But for me, I'm more so waiting for mine specifically to kind of have judgment on it because, like I said, I've seen like 2 posts. I've seen a lot more other people saying, yeah, the magnets are a little weak. But then I've seen other people say that they've had 0 issues with it. It hasn't fallen in 5 months. No issues at all. So it's kind of a weird one. It looks really cool with this DX19. I really like that. But yeah, I'm more so waiting on it. There's no excuse for it. InArt, they did obviously make a mistake on certain figures, or I don't know how the whole story yet, but it's something that they're going to learn from and hopefully, have better magnets. Because like we've talked about, this is their first figure. A lot of people were expecting it to be like a 10 out of 10, given it was their first figure. A lot of us even said that as well. And seeing this flaw, to me, it isn't a deal breaker, but I can totally understand why others would think that's a big deal, because obviously a big portion of the prices you're paying for the diorama base and the bases here. But for me, I'm more so judging the figure itself. I'm still going to use the magnetic bases, even if they are a little weak. I feel like maybe I'd risk it a little more, unlike you, Will. You want to be safer, of course, but I feel like I really want at least the jail one. I think this one, the one with just the base, is a little bit more plain, so I wouldn't mind keeping that in the box. But I think the jail cell one's the one I really want to have just in the display, because I don't really want to box that up per se, because that's probably a big portion of the price is coming from that diorama base. So that's the reason why I'd use it. But this one more so, I'd be fine probably putting it away. But again, I hope InArt's learning from this, because obviously a lot of people are taking that snowball effect, because there's a lot of people out there who had their doubts with InArt, and seeing this right here obviously is going to help their case and it's going to help them. But it is what it is. For me, I'm going to wait till I get mine in hand. Hopefully it comes out soon, and I'm going to do obviously a review on it. And if I have those issues, they'll be presented. But yeah, I'm still excited for this figure nonetheless. I mean, Heath Ledger Joker, I can't wait for it personally.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And I didn't even realize we had King Module Space in the house, Mr. Brian Wong. Good to see you, Brian. I totally missed the comment. Then I was scrolling through and I saw Mario chatting with someone. I was like, who's that? I was like, oh, that's Brian. There it is. So good to see you, Brian. Thanks for joining, bro. So guys, I want to jump around slightly here. So Carlos, I want to ask you this question. So with this Joker and the magnetic base issue going on, and with the hands and stuff like that, does that concern you at all? I mean, I know, like I said, you and I have talked about it. I've talked about it in my review pretty extensively. With the hands, you really got to push them in. You don't just pop the magnet on and leave it. You got to pop the magnet and push and like peg it in. So you got to do that too. And I think the instructions do say that. So if people are out there listening to that, that's something you want to keep in mind. And with the base, use your best judgment. For me, I would just probably use a crotch grabber. But Carlos, how do you feel about all this? Does this concern you at all?
I'll say that it's a little concerning, okay? Because now I appreciate the head sculpt looks good. I think tailoring, everything looks good, but specifically the base. See, the problem is that we are paying a little under 1,000 and some over 1,000 for two figures, rooted version, a diorama, and a magnetic base. The problem is that we are paying such a high amount, and I would expect something like a base to not be a problem. You know what I mean? I feel like these are things that we're going to, they're a new company, so I understand they're going to improve. So hopefully, over time they're going to get better. But that's, I would say it's kind of a big deal, right? Because I mean, I wouldn't want to spend $1,000 on a collectible and then come with a faulty base. You know what I mean? It just feels like,
right.
It just doesn't, it kind of takes away from the premium feel now that you have to go and buy yourself a set, a crotch grabber, or use one from Hot Toys, or even have to get something else. Because one of the things that we all said was, hey, it doesn't have a crotch grabber anymore. Nobody likes crotch grabbers. It's magnetic. And, now it's going to, the magnetic base isn't working, which from even yours, Will, or from everyone that I've seen, it's really strong, when you have the figure and you move it up and down or upside down, but side to side, forward and back, it's definitely very weak. And even from some of these videos that I've seen, I just don't think it's a very good base. I think hopefully they fix that. I don't know if they try to make it right by their customers. It's like trying to compare that to like if I was to buy, I don't know, the DeLorean, and like, I don't know, the wheels come deflated or some shit. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how I can make a comparison where it's like, well, it's like, I'm not going to want it, so I'm going to do a refund, or I need a replacement. I would expect something like that from InArt. I don't know if they are though, but if it's a faulty base, then I should think they should give out replacement bases. I think maybe I don't know. Yeah. So, anyways,
well, because I am with you, Carlos, when you're paying this price for it, and the base is so cool. That was part of my dilemma, because I'm like, man, I know what you're saying, Riley, but some of the other characters too, like Aragorn and Pennywise, have really cool bases. Right. And now I'm looking at that and I'm like, but I want to use that base, and now I almost feel like I can't, because
it's like,
it's
maybe there's a good example. I don't know what you guys think. The Mark II DeLorean comes with that acrylic base that you can put the car sideways. It's like if we start noticing that cars start falling over because the acrylic won't hold it. Like, wouldn't we expect a replacement? Wouldn't we expect a new base? Because it's a pretty expensive thing. So I would expect them to fix this, some way. Like, hey, give us a new, where the magnetic, and we have a crotch grabber option where you can cover it, or you can put a crotch grabber, or fix your bases. I think they should come out and fix this problem.
I think so too. But I think it's also one of those where it's like, I think it's also one of those where at the end of the day, they probably need to add a little crotch grabber slot too. I think.
I feel like, so like, hey, it's kind of hard though, because I don't like the crotch grabber, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, maybe having like a slot for it.
Yeah, maybe you could cover it. You know what I mean? Like something you could pop in and cover it.
I'd rather have them take the risk at doing magnets rather than not doing it at all and just having the crotch grabber. But I feel like hopefully at least they like make a post like saying like, oh, we've like Carlos said, like if they don't do replacements, I think the best thing that they would do is make like a statement, like saying, okay, we've seen that these issues have been happening. We're going to make sure in our future figures or anything, or maybe even the previous ones that we've had, like Hopefully, maybe Gandalf, it doesn't have the same issue. I think Gandalf or Pennywise is the next up. I'd hope that they kind of listen to this and like, oh shit, like we need to do something different to fix the bases. Because if your previous pre-orders have that same issue, then that's not going to really look good if you have like 2 or 3 or 4 figures having this issue. But
yeah, because one of the selling points again is that this is supposed to be easier, right? A new way of collecting, magnetic, head sculpt, the head sculpt, the peg, the wrist, everything is supposed to be easier. And I don't know if you're going to do magnetic and that's fine, then I think they need to provide replacements or come out and say something. Or I know for a fact, if again, the Mark II, the acrylic base wasn't holding, I wouldn't want to keep that. You know what I mean? But unless that was the only option, and InArt hasn't came out and said anything. So.
And like I said, these are pretty few and far between. Like you're seeing a lot of posts like these where people are like, "Yeah, I really love this." So maybe people
that's
like
what I'm confused about. There's like some people saying they've had like no issues at all, and like I said, they're not even content creators, just collectors who have the figure. They're like, I've had this for a long time. I've put it in the position it hasn't fallen. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
weird. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if you have a problem, people can submit a replacement. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Leia, what do you think about this? Because I know you have the Rooted 2-pack coming in the near future. Do you think you'll end up using the magnetic base?
Well, I really didn't have plans on using it anyway. But I mean, I think also, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it. I mean, it could be an issue with the base, but also I think, someone did mention it, and I believe that. Like, I mean, it's it could be weak ankles. I mean, it could also be the way you pose the figure. I know that if you actually pose a figure, like say for instance, if you don't use a crotch grabber, you pose a figure a certain way. If you have the knees bent, if you don't have the knees slightly bent, then the issue that you basically run into is that it's weighted. It can tilt. You have to have the knees slightly bent to actually get posture, the proper posture, instead of having it straight up, especially if you're posing a figure. A lot of people, and if you're looking at this particular figure, one foot is slightly out front, knees bent, the other foot's slightly in the back. So of course it's going to hold its posture a bit more, even with the magnetic base. So I think that it is a thing where you actually have to have the knees bent a slight way, because if you have it straight up, if I don't have my knees bent, that's just like anybody. If you have it straight up, if you're holding, just you yourself, like straight up, if you stand up one time, grab 2 weights, hold them on each side. The equilibrium, it's going to be slightly off because that weight is going to carry. You have to actually have it a certain way. You have to stand a certain way, position you a certain way. Your posture has to be good, so it's not adding too much weight. Right. So it's the same thing for actual figure. You know what I mean? If you had that, I have figures that I have crotch grabbers. If I don't bend those knees and if you hit the DTOF, it'll tip over. But if the knees are bent slightly and the crotch grabber supports it, which I hate using, but if it does support, then I don't have any problems. So I think it's also how you actually have the figure posed as well. I wasn't planning on actually using the standard anyway, so I really don't care. But I really think that, when it comes to, you pay $1,000 for it. I definitely get that. And it would be an issue. And I see where people might have certain complaints when it comes, to the base itself. But if there are a lot of people who actually have this figure and they're saying that they're not having those problems, then it could be an issue where you have it positioned a certain way where you're not right. Because you look at it, you see the way he has it standing. His knees are slightly bent, one foot out in front of the other. So of course it's supported. You're not going to see that type of issue where it tilts over. So I think like I said, it just depends on how the person has it posed, but it's not to dismiss people and be dismissive of individuals who actually have problems with that magnetic base. But I think they're going to work out the kinks, man. Fairly new company, and I think that they will work that out and they will probably dress it. Me, myself, I was actually going to use a foam plating where the feet actually form to that foam. It's going to keep it standing a certain way, but that's how I'm going to have it in a display. So I already have pretty much an idea how I wanted to use it. So again, I mean, I see where there's cause for concern, but at the same time, just watch how you pose the figure. That's all I'm going to actually say, because then you don't want to cause any issues.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. I mean, I can say from having this figure in hand myself, even if you have a more lifelike pose like this one, I can tell you if there's any sort of movement, that boy in that pose is going to go backwards. Like, and that's understandable. That's the same with any pose, like any figure that you actually have where you don't even have a magnetic base. If you stand it like that and you hit it, it's going to fall.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah,
right. I mean, regardless of how that's actually going to be. So I think it's just one of those issues where, again, with any pose, like for instance, it could fall because the way he has this position, knees slightly bent, but the back is straight up. If you slouch the back a tad bit, then the weight is distributed evenly, so it's not going to tilt. So it's just, again, just the realism of how you actually pose it.
Yeah.
And just see how it actually works. But at the same time, you don't want to have it in a section or a space where, you know, you might have those issues where if you hit it, it'll knock it over. Have it somewhere where it's stable, you know what I mean? And it won't really cause any problems. Because I'm saying, like, anything that I actually have, like, for instance, if you look at Luke, the only reason why I have Luke that way in 1 foot walking is because it doesn't come with a crotch grabber. It comes with a waist grabber, for the snow speeder Luke. So it's holding itself in position. But I guarantee you, if I didn't have that and had a crotch grabber and I hit that, it would knock it straight over. So I just think this, depends on how you do it.
I think I think you make some really, really solid points, Leo. I think what they're going to have to do, though, is because, see, when we think magnetic, we just think you pop it on there and you're done. Right. So if there's a learning curve on how to properly use a magnetic base so it doesn't fall over, then you're right. Maybe that's something that InArt's going to have to come out and say, like, this is how you properly use this magnetic base. Because there's a learning curve now. Because we just thought, oh, you pop it on and you're done. But if the magnets aren't that strong and you do need to bend, I didn't even know you had to bend those knees for something like this, honestly. So since there's a learning curve, I think they'll have to come out and say, like, here's how you properly use this for future figures, at least.
And Barrett also made a good point. He said, if you can only pose it standing straight up and down, then what's the point? That's kind of the way I see it with the Batman per se, because for me, I want to do like dynamic poses. That's the only thing where I have concerns with. Another thing that's a great point is that I'm in LA, and Carlos and Mario, you as well. If we have earthquakes, if you have this on that base, I mean, Will, you said it's going to fall if there's anything shaking or anything. So you're in an environment where you have earthquakes, it could also be a concern as well.
Yeah, to me, I'm just all about safety at the end of the day. So it took only one tumble for mine, and I was
taking the risk.
I just bought a crotch grabber, and it was like $10, so something. But Mario, I want to jump to you on this one. I know it's been a while since we've gotten to check-ins here, so I want to see what you feel about this magnetic base here with the Joker. How are you feeling about this? Because most people seem pretty happy, but there are a few issues. Are you concerned at all?
No, not at all, man. Again, I don't think Leo hit on the head. He said exactly what I was thinking. I don't think it's an issue with the base. I just think it's an issue with the ankles and how collectors are actually posing it. It's all about balance, in the end. So you need to do what you need to have it posed up properly for this thing to support itself. Because the feet are just going to attract to the magnets. Will, have you done it? Like, just try to pop it on and it just finds the center of where to put itself?
Yep, it does. Like in the center, in the center of the base. Yeah.
Right. So then that tells me there. Then it's a problem, in the ankles, or it could be a potential issue in the ankles. So are the ankle pegs that are there? Are those also magnetic, or are those actually pegged in?
See, I think those are pegged in, but I haven't pulled them out. Yeah, I haven't pulled them out. So I'm pretty sure they're pegged in now. I know Dante's fell off, but
they're pegged. They're not magnetic.
That's why I think it's an issue with with the ankles rather than the base, because you can put you can have the entire base full of magnets. You're still gonna have this problem. The figure just could be top heavy, not be able to support itself. So if anything, probably use a little bit more of a stronger ankle pegs, possibly. Look at maybe do like an all metal design that can support that kind of weight of the plastic that's top heavy of it. That's where I think the actual problem lies. But as far as like trying to pose it dynamically, there's a lot of collectors. You all said it too, man. No one uses stands, so I'm like, why is this a problem now?
I understand that's true. Stand life, baby.
People do, but others don't. I don't.
I see it in the chat. Charlie Unicorn mentioned like hashtag no stands.
Let's run a poll.
So it's like, come on. I'm the only one that uses stands. Well, it seems like I'm the only one who uses stands in here, but
me and you, Mario.
Yeah. So
I just feel like it does look a lot more realistic, and that's another reason why you buy InArt is because it doesn't have the stand, because it looks so much more realistic of him just standing there
without the crotch grab.
But I think it just adds more presence, to the actual figure. Telling us, displaying a bit of more of a story with that stand itself, rather than other than just having a doll on the shelf and just, oh hey, look, there's a Joker there. You know what I mean? So I like
the base too, Mario. Especially now we're getting more diorama bases and such. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I would suggest, like literally, to anybody who has that problem, if you want to have the stand, let me just give you one quick tip. If you just do want to actually have the stand, probably try something like this. Try something that you've never seen before. Try a pose that you've never seen this figure in before. Maybe take 1 foot, have it off the stand in the back, have one foot on the actual stand, have him leaning over, crossing the gun and his arm on one knee. Try something like that.
Yeah.
It would be stable. At the same time, you can still show presence with that stand. Even, for some people that might actually want to have him sitting on it, if you can pull it off, or even not even sitting on it, have him actually like sitting down, legs crossed in the front on the stands. You can be, see, the thing about the Joker, bro, is that you can be playful with this figure because he gives zero fucks. So, I mean, you can pull off so many different things with this figure. It doesn't have to just be a straight up and down standing pose. So if you see this and you're concerned, just find creative ways to utilize that stand and it'll work. It'll be effective. That's what I would actually say.
Yeah, that's true.
And Will, you have this figure. Have the ankles been weak on yours?
Not really, but I kind of get what Mario's saying. Maybe that could be the issue because
I know when Will FaceTime me and we were looking, the figure was, it looked like it was pretty loose, but it wasn't really like the
I don't think the ankles felt like super, super loose or anything. No different than a hot toy. I think it felt pretty stable, but I just think it's, figures can be kind of top heavy and they want to move back.
Has anyone had a Thor figure in their collection?
I have Infinity War Thor. Yeah.
And you ever try to display that without a stand?
I don't think so. No, I've always been.
It doesn't.
Life,
it will not hold itself up.
Really?
Same thing for Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange,
because it doesn't actually, because he doesn't have like a split cut boot technology for the first one. So you can't, unless you have him pose a certain way, it will not stand the entire time. So again, it's certain figures that you cannot do this for, and it will tip. You have to kind of really be creative.
This could be one of them.
Yeah,
it could
definitely.
be.
Yeah. And if there's a learning curve, then InArt definitely needs to come out and say this is how you properly pose this.
I don't think it's InArt, dude. I think it's just the collector, dude. You guys need to, I think the collector needs to understand how these figures actually work and balance. You need to find a center.
I think that's what Carlos is saying.
But I think maybe that might be helpful for InArt to give a little piece of info about that. Just, to say like, hey,
because if this figure has weak ankles, that's not our problem. They should fix that, right? They should figure something out. Because at the end of the day,
Thor.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're giving you a crotch grabber. They're saying here, there's a simple solution. We just grab it and it's magnetic, and you don't have to worry about it. No more like, no more fuzz, right? Because then that's why they use magnetic for their pegs. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about pegs. It's magnetic. So there's kind of the same situation where it's like, hey, we need to learn how to use this base. Then you need to come out and say that, because clearly it seems like if it's user error, then they need to. So
I don't know. Hot Toys doesn't tell you that basically sometimes using those cross grabbers on certain figures can cause damage. Yeah. They don't tell you how those the waist grabbers can damage your figure. Like they don't basically tell you those things. You know what I mean? So they just leave it up to you to really decide what basically works and what not. So I think that I think across the board at this point, we have to kind of hold every company accountable for what they do and how they, kind of deliver the information. So with InArt, again, they have a certain vantage point of how they're seeing this figure when they actually, send it out. They don't, they probably didn't anticipate this, or they probably, pose it a certain way with the expectation that people would follow suit. But I guess it just depends. Hot Toys does the same thing. They just leave it up to, the customer's interpretation of how they want to do it. But I mean, again, I think if they see enough of this, if they see more complaints like this, and they probably have something prepared, ready to address it, we'll just have to actually see. But I just think that I would, tell people to get as creative as they possibly can be if you do have some concerns. That's all.
Yeah. That's more than fair. I think you guys have all been very fair and reasonable with this one. So that's why you guys are the Avengers level panel. So, but I think honestly, I think people are going to love this figure when they get it in hand. And I said that in my review as such. I think as a figure goes, it looks alive. It's beautiful, especially I don't have a sculpted version, but the rooted version is just incredible. I really, really love it. Again, though, you have to always be transparent and fair. Like there are a few issues like the magnets, so, and getting the head on the body, which I didn't love. Maybe other people might have an easier time with, but maybe I just suck at it. But, that's just kind of what I would say. But nonetheless, guys, thank you for your amazing thoughts on that one. And I want to ask you guys something here because we're kind of moving in the topic of Batman here. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys something. Oh, yeah. So this one is actually for Riley, really. But since we talked to Yoast today, and like I said, guys, if you haven't checked it out, I interviewed Yoast today from JazzInc, and that's on the channel. That was really fun. Yoast he's a wealth of knowledge, bro. It's funny, I hadn't really been as familiar with JazzInc stuff until I talked to him, and I was like, okay, now the more I talk to him, I'm like, JazzInc is becoming more appealing to me, and I'm learning more about them and all that type of stuff. And I think Riley, from what I remember, the pre-order window for this is closing pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Tuesday. So
right.
it's the last
And
day.
Riley is trying to decide, guys. And
I still haven't ordered it.
Well, so and this is something to factor in because, and I asked Yost this very question about the Batmobile, because Hot Toys teased the Batmobile at one point from the Batman and then just never made it. And since then, there have been no updates and there's no signs that they're going to make it. So it's been very interesting in that regard. So for the people who do want the Batmobile, I'll run a poll on this one too. But Riley, I want to start with you on this one. I'm not sure where your mind's at with it currently, but this is a $1,500 car. So this is obviously for the diehard, the Batman, Robert Pattinson fan. But JazzInc has those 1/6 scale clean version and they have the weathered version. And I'll show both. But Riley, which way are you leaning so far? Because I think there's going to be a lot of people in your boat that are probably looking at both of these.
Right. I mean, no, definitely people are. I mean, even when I posted or something, they're like, I still can't decide because they both just look so good. So it's really hard. It's really hard to choose. But I think that Will and a couple of Mike and I think Carlos too, he also kind of made me more lean towards the clean one. I was at first like, okay, I feel like I got to go weathered because for one thing in the film, when he had the Batmobile, that thing was dirtied up, gone through the mud, going through crazy alleyways and the freeways. It was pretty crazy. So like, that's why I was like, I kind of want to recreate that in that sense to have that weathered and really like rustic look. But on the other hand, I was like, the clean does look really good. But then on the, it's so funny because I'm on both sides of it. I'm still like not finalized what I want to do, but this looks really cool. I've seen some other photos of like the more further prototypes, and I feel like the paint on the mud at least doesn't look the same as what I saw in these photos. So maybe like it may have declined in the final prototype. I don't really know, but I know the clean one, I feel like I want to go in that sense just to be safe. And if anything, people have talked about you could dirty it up yourself if you really wanted to. You can kind of have the best of both worlds, but who knows, that might decline the value if you want it per se. But I think I'm leaning towards the clean one just to be more safe. The weather looks really cool, but I feel like that obviously is going to add more paint applications to do some other things from scratching and weathering. So I don't know if I'm fully want to go down that length because who knows if there's any quality control issues. I think I just want to be safe and go the clean route. And the clean looks really good as well. And I think the clean isn't like completely clean, like no damage at all. I think it has like barely any weathering, but like slightly. I'll have to ask Yost about that. But I'm more towards going the clean, but the weathered always tempts me because like I feel like that's going to have a lot more presence on the shelf if it has that weathered aspect. Because for me, I'm always like a guy who likes battle damage, weathering, like dirt. When Hot Toys obviously do stuff like that, you're like, oh, like this is so much cooler. Like the battle, obviously the clean 85 to the battle damage 85. I mean, which one you choosing there? It's a pretty clear winner there in that aspect, but that might be a little different in that sense. But other people have brought up a really great point. If you do have Batman vehicles like other ones in the past, you have the Tumbler, you have the new 89 that got announced from Hot Toys. Those are all for the most part clean, like there's no weathering on it. It's a clean vehicle. So if you have multiple Batmobiles, I would say clean is the one you want to go with to kind of match that with your display rather than have just this one being weathered, unless you want to be different. But I'd say if you did have multiple clean ones, go that route. But for me, I'm genuinely going towards the clean one just to be safe. And also the InArt one isn't like super weathered, so maybe it wouldn't match this as good because it's like not as weathered as this. I mean, this thing's like messed up. Like this thing's gone through the work, and obviously it did in the movie, like I said. But again, I'm like pretty clear, like 70-30. Like I'm leaning towards the clean, but maybe someone will change my mind last minute. I think I have like a day or two to decide, but I want to hear what everyone else says on the panel because I really need your thoughts. Like I'm still deciding, and everyone in the chat. So I'm gonna read them after this. But yeah, it's interesting.
I recommend passing. Just get the 89, bro.
Yeah,
no, thanks, bro.
And I pulled this up. I should have made this earlier, but I just made it while you were talking, Riley.
Like, is the clean too clean? Like, I don't know.
So
no,
it's so hard.
It's not too clean.
I don't think it is either. So Mario, what do you think on this one? You know, clean or weather? Because I know a lot of people who want this Batmobile, and it is pricey. You're gonna have to make the right decision. What do you think?
Dude, to be honest, I didn't even look at this thing until right now because I had like no interest in this thing. So I'm like whatever.
I fell asleep.
Damn.
Fell asleep during the scene.
Coming in fresh.
To be honest, I was getting really sleepy. It
is a 3-hour movie, bro. To be fair,
Mario, get out of here.
Yeah, but so was Lord of the Rings was a 4-hour plus movie. It was way more
I fell
intriguing.
asleep
So,
many
dude,
times
tell
in Lord
Riley,
of the Rings.
Riley, you need to hear what Mario said.
Return of
Mario
the King,
speaking
bro,
facts.
that's just one and done, man. That's all. It's the best. It's the best.
Yep.
Which
as far
one?
as this figure is concerned, there's this piece, all of them, bro, as a trilogy. The original trilogy.
Oh, the trilogy. Oh, the trilogy. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
trilogy
Lord
as
of the
a whole.
Rings. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
take 12 hours like the day.
This
man.
movie's
Guys,
more
check 'em out.
entertaining. More entertaining.
Which one? Lord of the Rings. It is.
The
Lord
Hobbit
of the Rings
trilogy
actually
is
more
Lord of the
Batman.
Rings is the
yeah.
best trilogy ever, bro. That's my opinion.
No,
Ever?
Batman-
I don't know about
honestly,
ever.
I think it
Dark
is.
I wouldn't go there.
I'd say the
dude,
Dark
but,
Knight
you
trilogy
know.
would be
I
one.
say
No,
the
because I
Dark
think
Knight.
Lord of the Rings had more consistency. Like I think, yeah,
I fell asleep when watching Lord of the Rings, bro. I didn't do that.
Anyway,
I would say it's a close second. I would say it's a close
OT,
second.
OT all day. I'm sorry, OT all
That's-
day.
Lel, my dude,
Oh,
don't
Best
let me hang it.
trilogy of all time. I'm sorry. Star Wars,
That's fair,
Empire,
that's fair,
Jedi,
that's fair,
best
that's fair.
trilogy of all time. Nothing comes close to that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If it did, I mean, it is because for me, I mean, like I said, it's OT. There's so many different other things that I would actually put. Now, and that's not to say that Lord of the Rings isn't dope. It is dope as hell, but come on, man, OT all day, bro.
Yeah. Well, Mario, what do you think about the
That is
Batmobile?
fair.
I know we got sidetracked. All of us did. That was my fault. That's my fault.
I still think. I mean, did Batman go off roading in this movie, dude? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was. it was
in the
dirt-
Penguin
yeah, he was
chase.
pretty off-roading. Yeah.
When he
Was it?
goes and
I mean, the
he
only time we
chases
saw
them
this
and-
was it was
yeah.
really weathered. That's the most part we've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta look it up.
I think
It was
I
just
think
dark. The
clean
scene
one-
was a dark scene, so you really couldn't see
Oh, really?
all this weathering.
No,
but
it
I
was
guess
messed
it was
up.
this
He was
weather.
going through
Yeah.
dirt, going through
Yeah.
cars.
Riley's
and all
Well,
that.
it looks
so.
like there's some like what you call that? I don't want to say paint imperfections, but like little subtle weathering on the clean one as well. And I think that's fine enough. There could be like rain stains from into the print or something into the
Rain
paint.
stains.
Or something. I don't know. Rain will do
Rain
damage to metal, dude. It'll I don't want to say rust
That's a
yet,
good
but
one.
still. The engine, I think on the clean one, looks better. There's a little bit of weathering going on in there, but on the weathered one, I think it's a bit, too much for my liking. What Riley mentioned earlier too about clean versus battle damage in general when it comes to a figure, I'm more of a battle damage guy myself, but with the cars, bro, I gotta keep it clean, man.
Mm.
So I'm going with the clean version all day.
That's tough. That's tough. I'd probably go with the clean too. But Leo, what are you thinking here? Because if you had to choose between clean and weathered Batmobile, what's your pick?
Well, I mean, as dope as the weather look is, I think that you can actually go clean and create the weather look if you wanted to. You can modify it, but have the freedom of wiping it off whenever you want. Like I said, for me, being creative, I can actually just get something like that, get like specks of little Vaseline to put on it, get some dirt. You know where we get it from, bro. Michael's all day.
Michael's.
Like literally, you get if you put it around certain areas, if you have this picture, you can kind of recreate that look. You do it with the clean version, and you have two looks where you can actually wipe it off if you want to. Yeah, what I mean,
But you're
and
creative.
still-
Riley isn't creative.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it basically just depends, on the look.
He literally
It
puts
depends
the
on
right
where a
hand on
person
the
wants
left
to go.
hand.
So
Yeah, he did do that.
I think
Yeah,
the
that's
clean. I think the clean is definitely. I mean, I love both because it even going beyond the movie itself. It just gives me Mad Max vibes as well. That's why I love it. But I mean, still, it depends on the person. But I say, like I said, go clean so you have the best of both worlds.
I think the clean looks meaner, dude.
Yeah.
it looks hella mean.
It looks
compared to the-
more. The clean looks more. It looks more haunting. It looks more. It gives you more of that like. What's the word that I want to use? It more.
To me, it's
Threatening.
more of a
Brooks
Batman.
Compton.
It's more threatening
More
than
vengeance. More vengeance.
yeah. It's more threatening than the I would actually say because it. Like the weathered version to me looks like a funny car. You know what I mean? It looks like something, like the funny car type of things. Like when you actually see it, like
Sure.
even doing like the, for instance, what we got in Fast and the Furious 2, when he actually went and met Tyrese, and Tyrese was at that, that what was it? They were smashing cars or whatever back and forth, stuff like that. It looks sort of like that, but with having a cleaner version, I think. You have the best of both worlds. You can do, so many different things with it. So,
Well,
I
this
would
is the
actually go
RC
clean.
version.
Can we pick a different photo?
So this is the RC version. So this has got to be extremely accurate. So this is 1/10 scale RC. So it does have some weathering, but I think not quite as much as JazzInc does. So the only photos, all the other ones are like, you can't tell. It's too dark.
It's almost a 50-50 on the pull you have. It's pretty crazy.
like it's just too dark. You're gonna have to brighten it.
can't
That
tell.
one a little bit is cleaner, but I can't tell. Like, I mean, it's
I'm just focused on the 89 right now, so it really doesn't matter. for
yeah,
me.
Riley. Who gives a
89 is just all day for me.
Oh, the
man.
one right there below it.
Oh yeah.
To
That
the
one
right.
I think is the RC though. That's RC.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, it's RC. It just looks like it's
Damn.
real, but it's
I think
not.
for the most part, it's more so weathered. Like in the film, it's more weathered. But when it comes to
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he cleans it after the whole fight that happens, and he cleans it up for the next movie. I don't know. I don't know how it's
Batman doesn't wash his own cars. Alfred maybe washed it.
Alfred,
Yeah,
will do it.
Alfred maybe, or Alfred hired someone to do it, but he's got too much money for that. But Carlos, what do you think about this, bro? As clean or weathered? Help Riley out here.
Yeah.
So I pre-ordered the clean one because I have multiple Batmobiles that are RC. So I'm gonna put them all together, and I think that'll be a nice look. I think Riley though, he should go with the weathered version. So I do believe that. So
Wow.
I think he should because that's gonna be unique. You know what I mean? It's gonna be good. I don't see layout provides a really good point, but Riley is not very creative. So I don't think he's gonna be able to do a good job.
I probably
honestly.
wouldn't. I
So-
wouldn't. I'd be too worried to mess it up that I wouldn't touch it personally. Like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
yeah,
try
and you
run
can,
with it and
yeah.
stuff, but yeah.
So I would
And I'm not gonna
say,
do
I
that.
think you.
Spacing for it already, bro?
What happened?
Do you have the spacing for it?
Oh yeah. I got the
Get the
module
module
case
case
set
and
up.
stuff. Yeah.
Riley will move
Okay.
anything he has to for the Batman. The Batman
Exactly.
is his
Here's the
grail.
thing.
Yeah.
I think you should get the weathered, and you get the InArt, and I think you should weather him up too.
Well, he'll probably already be a little.
Well,
bit
if I'm not
weathered.
creative for the car,
think
I'm
so?
going to be creative for the figure.
Well, I
thought
mean,
you said I'm
go
not
hire
creative.
someone, man. I don't know, bro.
I don't
All
know,
I
the
want you
weather-
to do is get the weathered so that I can compare.
Well,
when I
so you
get
can
mine.
compare.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I heard the InArt Batman is a little weathered though. That's what I've heard.
I assume
And I
he
saw it in
is, yeah.
person. It has
Oh,
weather.
I don't know.
Well,
I just want you to get the weathered one.
I don't know, Carlos, because this weathered version looks almost too weathered to me. It almost looks like it's been sitting in the junkyard. You know what I mean? Like that's kind
I
Is
don't know.
is InArt still doing theirs? Doing
See,
the Batmobile?
that's a good question, bro. Like,
So
we don't know.
I
Hot
asked
Toys still
John.
doing theirs. So where's Hot Toys at?
Yeah, Hot Toys.
Hot Toys
I don't
isn't
know
doing
that
it.
they are, Mario. I
Bro,
don't
I
know.
it's
asked
been a
John, and he
year
said that they
since they showed
should,
it.
but he didn't. It didn't sound very confident. Let's just say he said they should make it. I just don't know when it's gonna get made. I'm like, well, what the fuck? That says a lot. Like, it doesn't
Right.
say
Probably not
anything.
gonna happen until if they did like a
It could be
year.
a couple
I know
of
they
years.
said-
Yeah.
They did say the motorcycle from this movie. Don't know why they prioritized that, but they said that one's about to be ready. I think InArt
The Bat
said-
Cycle?
Yeah, like
The
you know,
Bat
he had a
Cycle, yeah.
motorcycle in the movie. You might have been sleeping like Mario, but
He
had
like
a
barely
motorcycle.
wrote it.
Did you
Yeah,
almost
he did.
compare me to Carlos, dude? Really?
I
Quit this damn
mistaken the
stream,
name.
bro.
Sorry, bro.
No, but yeah, you guys have some great thoughts on this one. And I think the poll is like literally almost 50-50. It's like 51-49 right now.
I'm
so
so nobody helped me here.
So nobody really
Thank
helped
you.
Riley. So, but you guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. We got a super chat, or actually two, from Batman Collectibles. Thank you so much, Batman Collectibles. He says, clean version. My 66 to 89 and
Right.
Tumblr are all clean. Keep it
Nice.
unified. So yeah,
But Riley doesn't have either of those.
Yeah, so that doesn't help me. But I
Riley,
get
are
what
you
he's
getting the
saying.
Tumblr?
No,
not.
no, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the
Well,
Bat Pod. But
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's true.
From
even though you,
Carlos.
even though you don't even
Yeah,
like the
I-
Dark Knight, so.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
Batman's
yeah.
better. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But thank you so much, Batman Collectibles. Yeah, to me, I would say clean, but I think most of the panels in agreement here. Carlos just wants him to get the weather so he can compare. DJN, if Hot Toys / InArt does come out with Batmobile, it'd be clean. Yeah, it probably would be. I would assume. Or at least maybe somewhere in the middle. It's like half. It's like maybe not quite as weathered as JazzInc, but somewhere in between. Okay. So that said, let's talk about something else here, something non-Batman. I want to talk about this. 2 things new collectors should know about collecting Hot Toys, because this is something that comes up, and I think it's asked quite a bit, honestly. Every once in a while, I'll get messages like, oh, I'm a little bit newer to collecting. Like, what do you recommend to start out? And these are where these type of videos come in handy, where maybe now I can point to this video and be like, hey, I got you. Here's a video with Avengers level panelists who talk about exactly what you're asking, and I can give that to you. And I don't have to type out a full response. I could just send you a link. So that said, I want to start actually with Lael. So Lael,
Yep.
what are 2 things that you think new collectors should know about collecting Hot Toys? What should they know before they really get into this?
Okay, real quick, because I see a super chat. Rockamod Chris, sorry, bro, I'm not going to do that here, man, because like I said, this is my bro's channel. Not something that I choose to really address publicly. Again, it's just not one of those things, man. It was a very serious matter. To me, it wasn't something to joke about because, again, I just feel the need that, we need to hold ourselves responsible for what we do and what we say. So Yeah, none of that, man. I'm sorry. I don't really want to promote that energy here. So appreciate it, Ben, but not here. I'm not trying to sabotage my bro's channel. But getting back to two things that I think creators should okay, latency as well. Don't expect these things to come out, late, it's going to be delayed. Stuff is going to be delayed, so you should understand that. It looks good. But the second thing is to lower your expectation. Just because you see it look how it looks, prototype, it's not going to always look that way once you get it in hand. So literally, new collectors, expect delays, lower your expectation. Those are my two things, because we've seen it time and time again. Things have actually dropped, or we're like, damn, sometimes they'll say, okay, to be out this date, and we won't get it for like 3 years, or 2.5 years, just depending. And then we have, expectation when it comes to a piece. It looks good, on paper, on photo, or picture. And as soon as we get it, Batman Begins, it looks terrible. So, I mean, you just have to really, really, really lower your expectations, and just sit there. That's the most important thing. I mean, price, you know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? So you definitely know what you're getting yourself into. But I would say those are two of the most important things, because it just has to, again, you have to keep that in mind, because we saw, like, when I first started out, I didn't know shit about Hot Toys and how they operated. And, I saw it, and you pay for the figure, like, all right, cool, give it to me now, not knowing that there was a delay. Like, it had to go in production. It takes a while for that to happen. That's why they give you these dates. Then, once we see, and I fell victim to that too, you see the production photos on certain channels, and you're like, cool, I can get that now. But not knowing that, okay, the thing has been released overseas. It doesn't mean that we'll get it over in the States.
Right.
So then you have to go through that whole process, and it takes a while. So it's just like, damn. So I had to kind of figure all that out as I went, and it became like a true collector at that point. So yeah,
that makes sense, bro. And those are some good tips, because people really do need to be prepared to wait. And it's better layout than it ever has been, to be honest. I mean, because before, remember with Mando and Captain America, we were waiting like 4 to 6 months. It was a while. So it's gotten a lot better. So new collectors are actually going to be at least coming in on the good end of it. But yeah. I want to ask Mario too. Mario, what do you think? With new collectors, what are two things that you think new collectors should really know? Because Lael just dropped some knowledge on us.
This is actually something that's kind of near and dear personally right now, just because I'm actually dealing with some of my statue homies that are asking me a lot of questions about Hot Toys right now. Yep. So they're actually new collectors, man. And one of the things that I dealt with, man, shout out to my boy Miguel, Toy Quest 101. Sideshow and Hot Toys are two different things. Yeah,
okay. Did they ask you about that?
Yes.
Okay.
My dude thought he had a bunch of Hot Toys. He started naming the figures. I'm like, those sound like Sideshow figures. Yeah. Let's get this straight. Hot Toys is their own company that are producing these 6-scale figures, while Sideshow is actually the distributor. Yeah. While they make 6-scale figures, they're totally separate things. Mm-hmm. So. Right. That's one of the
vastly
things that I really
different.
Want to stress. Vastly different.
Yes.
Insanely different, man. Different quality from the paint apps to the body types. Mm-hmm. One's practically a freaking bobblehead, and the other, with the body concerned, and the other one's a little bit more, higher end, a little bit nicer. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. Another thing is to be. It's kind of two things that go kind of hand in hand. Is to what the hell's going on? Shop. Right. Shop around for deals. I mean, when I'm talking new, Sideshow is not the only distributor out there, or not the only seller out there. Mm-hmm. There are other websites that I do not wish to name right now, but you can go ahead and I would say get involved in the social media groups, whether it be Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, what have you. Right. Get involved, ask some questions as far as like, where can you find the best price for a particular figure? Mm-hmm. Anything new that comes out that you're looking for, or anything that's in stock that you're looking for. Ask around and just shop around, for the best price. Get involved with the community as well, man. You'll have a great time. Mm-hmm. Not always, but most of the time, the experience is pretty positive. You'll get a couple of, weird, odd people here and there, but it happens, man. It happens. But yeah, 2 things. Sideshow's not Hot Toys. Get involved with the communities. Shop around for the best price.
Yeah, there's some good ones. We got a good comment. Toys Wonderland. Yeah,
Yeah.
that just made me
Never buy
laugh.
from Toys
actually.
Wonderland.
Yeah, that was just really funny.
Now, for something like that, you do something that said places you stay away from.
Yeah, right.
You have to let collectors know the difference, bro. Like the companies you stay away from. That's. A
I
totally
think he was
different
joking.
discussion.
Yeah, that's why it was so funny to me. I was like, that was really clever.
That's why I said ask.
I know,
what
right?
you
Ask
said.
for questions. Ask for questions. So, Carlos, I want to ask you the same question here. What would you say to new collectors? 2 things that you think that would be helpful.
The first one being that unless it's a summer exclusive, like the Arena Boba Fett or the Stealth Suit Captain America, you really shouldn't be pre-ordering right now. Even if Sideshow is telling you it's low stock or blue screen, don't pre-order. Just don't do it. You know, if it's the figure that you know you're gonna love no matter what, like a Darth Vader DX, go for it. But most figures, right, that are going to have a head sculpt, they're going to have a decline when it comes out. So I would say don't pre-order. You're going to have a lot more flexibility. 10 pre-orders in, that's $3,000, man. You can get in really, you know, you can put yourself in a tough financial, you know, position really, really quickly. So I would say don't pre-order. They're not going to go anywhere, even if Sideshow sells out, like Mario mentioned. They're going to be available somewhere else. So that would be the first one. You know, you really don't have to, and at least until now, you don't. And the second thing, it would be Will actually has a video about this, so you can definitely look around. But something we came up with is called tier-based collecting. So when you buy a hot toy, you're gonna love, you know, how great these look. And I hear all the time people go and buy 10, 20, 30, there are 50 hot toys in 2-3 months in. So tier-based collecting, you know, it's gonna allow you to be able to still enjoy this and allow you to be able to prioritize your favorite characters from tier 1 or tier 6. So you can actually determine, do I really want this? Do I really need this? And again, if you don't pre-order, you're not in a tough financial spot. And because you are using tier-based collecting, when they do become available and it does come out good, you can say, oh, well, this is a tier 5. Maybe I'll wait for a deal. Or there's a tier 1, which is the best, like Mando, let's say. Oh, I'm going to jump on that now. That's Will. For me, it would be an Iron Man. Oh, I'm going to jump on it now, right? But I don't pre-order, and I use TBC to our advantage. So those 2 things. And again, Will has a video about TBC on his YouTube channel. So if you want to look that up too.
Yeah, dude, it is honestly, it's been a game changer for me personally. So, you know, everyone can use their own philosophy and do what they think is best. But as far as like sort of figuring out which characters are most important to you and prioritizing that, I think it's pretty helpful. So I really like it.
Real quick to kind of piggyback off of what both Carlos and Mario said, you know, just look around. There's other places where you can actually get these figures. Again, right now, for instance, Ray over at Underground Toys, he has a great deal on figures where you get free shipping. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, Underground Toys, you know, underground figures, my boy Ray, definitely you can go over there and get some really, he actually sent out an email today, so you can actually go ahead and get
I got to buy from him, Leo. I've not yet bought from him.
Bro, he's such a good dude, bro. And you know, he's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah. What do you want to say, Carlos?
I was going to say, to add to that no pre-order, right? I've pre-ordered, which is funny, the Mark II DeLorean. And the only reason is because I was able to find it for 20% off retail, free shipping right now. So because it was such a great deal, I was like, okay, I'm going to jump on this right now. Sometimes, like Leo said and everyone, that if you do find a great retailer who has a great deal, like Underground, then you maybe that's the exception you make if he's a tier 1, tier 2 character. So
Right. Because Underground seems to have some pretty sweet deals. So
when it comes to pre-orders as well, man, I found a hell of a deal on the 89 Batmobile that I couldn't pass up. Below retail shipped. Had to do it.
Yeah. See, so if you find a deal, you're like,
do that.
Okay.
Do that.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, because if
you're
like
going to pre-order
Mario,
for like,
yeah, go ahead, Carlos. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're going to pre-order from Sideshow for full retail plus tax plus shipping, you don't really have to. But if it's a great deal on a pre-order, like Mario said, like Leo said, then yeah, I think that'd be worth it.
Yeah, because if it's a great deal, and if you're like Mario, where you're like, I know I want that Batmobile. Like, I love 89 Batman. I want that Batmobile. Then go for it. Like, absolutely. So, and I've made that mistake before where, you know, I've pre-ordered figures that I really wanted and I got a really good deal. And then I've canceled some of them because I was like, I know with the way the Hot Toys market is going, they're going to go down a little bit and I could probably get it. But then when those figures come out, I'm like, I still really want that, and I ended up paying retail. So those are mistakes I made a couple years back.
It's called being dumb.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's called being inexperienced at the time too. So, but you know, and that's kind of maybe what happened. But yeah, so I would say just be cautious about it, and you know, if you really want it, then find a good deal for it. Riley,
Hey,
what do you think?
Linda said some good stuff too.
Yeah. Linda, Charlie said don't buy Pennywise figures. I don't agree with that though. I'm going to put him in timeout.
At least not the Hot Toys ones.
Yeah, right. Just get the InArt ones. So yeah, and Linda said that, and we've said that before. You know, we've always said just because it's a great deal doesn't mean it's a great deal for you. So you know that's kind of what I believe.
Right.
So.
Especially if it's something that you're not really sure on, because I hear that so many times. Well, if it's this price, I might get it. Well, if it's that price that you want to pay for it, you're not even sure you're going to get it anyway. So don't waste your money on it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Riley, what do you think? What two tips would you give new collectors? Because I know you're in the Young Avengers, so you know these things.
Yeah, I'm Kate Bishop, but
yeah, you are.
we're going
West
to
Coast Avengers, bro.
Yeah, the West Coast Avengers.
Go.
That's you, Riley.
I love that.
Earthquakes.
There we go. Earthquakes. Oh my god.
And churros.
Churros. Oh my god. So for the first tip, I'd probably say the one thing that's super important that I feel like doesn't get talked about as much would be definitely planning out your display before buying your Hot Toys. Because I think on top of buying Hot Toys in general, you also have to figure out where to put them, obviously. And I think that, sorry, when you get your Hot Toy figures, you have to figure out where you're going to put them. And I think in my sense, when I first started collecting, I didn't really think of it too much at the time, because obviously when my throat is so, I don't know what's going on.
Riley's going through puberty live on camera.
Yeah. Live on
Did your balls just drop?
Yeah, dude. They did.
He's in the Young Avengers. He's fine. West Coast Avengers. It's fine.
So as I was saying, yeah, buying a figure. I have bought figures in the past. When I started collecting, I was like, I'm not gonna go like super deep into it now. And now look at me. Obviously, that happens a lot with Hot Toys collectors. You got to get ready because you're going to fall down the hole. It happens to everyone when you go down and you start buying a bunch of figures. I'd say before you do that, kind of have a rough draft of what you're really going to do for your display, whether that be Detolfs. As much as Detolfs has gone up in price, it's crazy. I think they're like 130 now.
120,
pretty
130, yeah.
Yeah, they've been going up. But Detolfs,
Magi they might be discontinued pretty soon as well. Is that true?
Really?
I think they're gonna like remodel them. That's what I'm thinking, Mario. Like they'll change something
like
with
a new revision or something,
right?
Something like that. Right. But yeah, I know someone posted it's like 130 now. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, whether that be Detolfs, Magi Case, obviously, or Magi Space, they're a great place too. But that's obviously if you want to really spend time and money on a figure, because that's going to take on a case, because that's going to take a really long time. But I'd say that's super important, because for me, in my sense, when I wasn't thinking too much of my display, I was kind of just falling flat, because I'd have these figures, but I really wouldn't know where to put them. I'd have them in my box. Even some figures I have now that are just on my desk, which I don't like personally. That's a tip that I'd say it's another thing. I don't really like leaving figures on my desk, because obviously there's dust, etc. Other issues can happen. It can fall, whether they're any cases. But I'd say, yeah, figure out what you're going to be doing for your display cases before you start diving into your figures. Now, obviously, I have my Magi Spaces coming. I think it's funny. Brian just emailed me. I think they're coming like in a week or two, so I'm super excited.
Nice,
coming right around the corner.
They're shipping or arriving to your house?
Like they're leaving from, like they're shipping to my house. Like it's in LA, I think. It's in Cali. So,
oh, nice. So they're probably near the ports or whatever. Yeah, you have to show me how the assembly goes, Riley. Yeah, because
oh god,
dude, he can't even put a peg in. He's got taken 5 days.
I already told my friends.
DFs, or did you get the 6 series?
I got DFs and then 2 customs, but all DFs, yeah. I wanted that high.
He's doing a shoot.
The Batmobile.
How's the lead time? How long ago did you order?
I ordered November 2021.
Yeah, it was Black Friday, wasn't it?
2021.
Yeah, Black
oh
Friday.
wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Was it so about a year and a half almost? Yeah.
Yeah, a year and a half pretty much. So yeah, that's another thing I'd say for Magi Space. You wait, but it's gonna be worth it in the long haul, because I can't wait for those. But like I said, figure out what you're gonna be doing for your displays, and yeah, that's it for that. And my second tip, I'd say a huge thing is, like, I think Mario kind of said it as well, is connecting with people, collectors, just on Facebook, Instagram, and even obviously content creators. There's a lot of great people out there who, honestly, like a lot of the stuff I have here in my room, and a lot of the the stuff that I buy for as to look cool in my room, or etc., they come from other people who have inspired me and stuff. So I'd say Facebook's a super, that's, if you're into 6 scale and you don't have Facebook, you got to get Facebook. That's like the mainstay for everything. It's kind of funny because a lot of my friends and myself, I didn't have Facebook before getting into Hot Toys. But once I got into Hot Toys, I started downloading Facebook, and all my friends were like, why do you have Facebook? I feel like that's for old people. And I was like, damn,
Is that what they say?
Messed up, dude. Yeah, that's what they say, man. I guess
it is for old people.
Wow.
Facebook's
Is it
for old
really?
people. Yeah, maybe. Because none of my friends use Facebook. They're like, why do you use Facebook? I'm like, because everyone on Facebook.
Yeah,
is
maybe the youngins are using Instagram and TikTok.
For my clients and stuff, anytime we want to promote to like 35 and 40-year-olds minimum, we tell them, let's go to Facebook. It's an old people thing.
Go.
Facebook's really good for like following collecting and news.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what because I never like had Facebook at all. But when it came to collecting, obviously when I was watching you guys on YouTube and stuff, that's where I kind of fell into Facebook. But like I said, I have Facebook, Instagram, join Facebook groups and even join like Facebook's buy, sell, trade groups. Another tip I can give is that I think it's OSR Facebook group. Like that's well, it's a semi like tip to the I'm saying, but I'd say dive into that because there's ridiculous deals on that if you can just keep an eye on it. I know I've gotten a lot of figures from that, but like I said, plan out your displays before you end up getting your hot toys because it'll be troublesome in the future. Just trust me on that. And just connect with people on Facebook and YouTube because like I said, I'm watching you guys. I wasn't a YouTuber before you guys and I would watch you guys all the time and gain so much knowledge onto what to buy, what stuff, accessories I can buy. But that's what I'd say.
Thank you for the 4 tips. I have a question. Which figure do you have that I inspire you to get?
Oh, you didn't inspire me at all. None. You're just a nobody.
None, dude. None. But guys, thank you so much for your tips. We have some super chats that relate, so I'm going to keep this banner up for, well, I guess not if I'm going to show a super chat, but Mark 51's Collectibles, thank you so much, channel member and a super chat. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that. Budget or go broke for number 1, 2, envision your display. So Mark 51's Collectibles is pretty much right on par with this panel here because we pretty much are very much in line with that.
Live on the wild side. Go broke, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, go broke, baby. Go broke. Get the Infinity Studios bust. That's what you want.
Homeless.
So right now, Rocketman Chris, thanks so much, bro, for the super chat. And I was glad we're able to read this one. So I'm so sorry about the other one. But box storage should be taken into consideration. If you're keeping them like most do, 60 boxes take up a good chunk of room. That is very true.
Amazing
Art boxes take up space. Yeah.
Art boxes. That's true.
Yeah, because dude, brown shippers, break them bitches down and put them in the attic.
No. Save the shippers. Put the art boxes in there to conserve.
I put the art boxes.
Conserve the art box in the shipper. You're good to go,
dude. Well, the art box. Here's what I do, Mario. I put the art box. I actually have a walk-in closet, and I have the clothes still hanging, but like it's filled with boxes basically, and it looks fine, right? But as far as brown shippers, I got them in the attic. They're fine. Like I break them down.
Ever sold a figure where like the art box was like lower the value of my figure.
I think it's harder to ship, if you don't have it. So
no. I'm saying like if the art box is like has scuffs in it or it's a little ripped or whatever. I've never had an issue selling a figure just because the art box is messed up.
No, but I know if you don't have one at all, then you're. Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, if you don't have a shipper, I ain't buying.
Mario's particular.
Yeah, I'd rather get brand new.
You need a shipper.
Mario's particular.
Mario, you have a storage for your boxes and stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can also do that too.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. I've seen other people. I think PJ did that at one point. I don't know if he still does, but people, collectors will do that. So that's a really good point. So guys, I think we're running really short on time, so I'm probably going to wrap it there because Last of Us starts in 3 minutes. I was thinking we had time for one more talk, but I don't think we do. So guys, let's go around real quick and address this Avengers level panel. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us. Thank you so much for contributing your excellent thoughts. Mr. Riley Reviews, what's coming up on your channel, bro?
Dude, thank you for the invite again, Will. It was a lot of fun. I always love being on Collectors Mingle. But on my channel, we've got YouTube Shorts coming up. I've got live streams coming up hopefully soon. I haven't live streamed in a really long time. Just been really busy with school, etc., and work. But I'm gonna start ramping those up soon. I have actually a shout out. I have the Kahoot game show coming up for my next stream. I have it all. I have all the questions, so it's gonna be really dicey. I'm gonna make sure it's as hard as it can be. But yeah, anyone who wants to join in on that, just let me know. It'll probably happen this upcoming week. But I got that. Instagram, I'm posting Instagram content, Instagram Reels, like I said, Shorts, and just normal YouTube videos. I'll be pumping those out soon. And other than that, just waiting for some more announcements, some more exciting stuff. And I'm also going to be doing channel memberships this upcoming week. I'm going to start doing that. Nice. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And join A Place for Collecting also. Amazing group to be at, me and Carlos and all those other mods and just everyone in there. We actually did reach 700 members. I'm sure Carlos will shout that too. So shout out to everyone who's in the group. It's been a lot of fun. It's really an amazing group if you just want to have a non-toxic, just post your collectibles. You have advice, you want to talk about movies, etc. It's just a really awesome group. So check that out. And yeah, again, I learned a lot today. I'm Kate Bishop. I went through puberty. But yeah, it was a great show.
You did,
thank
bro.
you. Thank you again. Yeah.
You did, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining. It's always great to have you on. I know you always work on the weekends, so it's a little bit tougher to book you. You're a busy man, so. But happy to have you. And Lael, always happy to have you, bro. 1/6 scale, man. So what's coming up on the channel?
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me, bro. Again, what's going on? We got Comic Book Talk with Friends tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about the revamp of the Ultimate Universe, which is going to play into what's going to go on with the cinematic universe. And I think this is how they're going to actually do it. So that's dope. What do we got coming up? Also, Say What Wednesday. We have also Figure Flex Friday. Shout out to Charlotte Unicorn. Thank you very much, man, and recognizing. Figure Flex Friday has reached over 400 now on Facebook, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. If you haven't already become a member of the Figure Flex Friday Facebook group, make sure you have. It's just all about basically showing your figures, displaying your figures, beautiful pictures, photography, and stuff like that. We are actually going through Figure Flex 4s right now, so you have a chance to win, enter to win. I'm not going to say what it is, but at the end of the month, you'll know. So definitely, you can actually do that. Also, shout out to everybody who showed up last week on the, sorry about that, on the corner, where we talked about the ones that got away. More in detail, we talked about some of the grails. So
that was a good topic, man.
Yeah, bro.
That was a great topic.
Yeah, it was incredible, bro. It was fun. It was definitely fun. So appreciate that. This week, I'm gonna do another corner. It's gonna be verses. So what I'm gonna do is pull up a couple of figures, this figure versus that figure, and which one would you lean towards based on quality, detail, accessory, stuff like that. So I think it'd be fun to do something like that. So just expect that. Also, I have a Take a Position video coming up with both Vision and The Vision, which is the all-white version. So definitely thank you for that. And also, just to make an announcement for those of you that are in the Michigan area, I will be there at an event with Marco over there at Collector's Dome. Yeah. I'll be there. So definitely, I'll actually be there for that event. So shout out to everybody. If it'd be nice to meet a few people that are in the area. So me, myself, Toy are actually going. So it'd be fun. Yeah. So thank you for coming through.
That sounds great, bro. I know Marco sent me a message. He was like, Lael's going to be there. And I was like, that is tempting. I was like, that is tempting. Lael's going to be there. So yeah, but I've never been to Michigan before. So it sounds pretty cool.
Have you been anywhere outside your state, bro?
Yeah, dude. I've been to Florida a lot. All right. Yeah. And I'm going, Mario, I'm coming to visit you in July. So,
are you?
Yeah, dude, I'm coming to SDCC. So,
Oh, that's right. SDCC.
And I'm going.
We're gonna get churros at Disneyland. Let's go.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to Tennessee. Yeah, I'm staying at Carlos's. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to Tennessee to hang out with Kiko for like 3 days. So.
Oh, nice. Look at you going on tour, man.
I know, man. I'm growing. I'm blossoming.
He's gonna cancel last minute, like always.
No, not with these flights.
I would not be surprised if he actually did.
Not with these flights. Trust me. So Carlos, Mr. Place for Collecting, congrats on the 700 members. Dude.
Thank you.
Is there anything special coming up in the group?
Yep. So I'm actually talking right now with 2 or 3 retailers. So the goal is that as the group grows, right, as we're starting to do things, the goal was always to do every 3 months or 6 months to do like a figure giveaway. And the goal is right now I'm working to start doing monthly giveaways. So I'm working on a retailer so we can like start covering at least half of those costs. So that's currently what I'm working on. But a Place for Collecting, it's a toxic-free, drama-free Facebook group. So one of the things that we monitor very closely to make sure that you can share your collectibles and talk really about collectibles without getting laughing emojis or people just being a dick to you. So if you want to join, it's a Place for Collecting. It's a Facebook group, and totally free. All giveaways too are obviously free. So thank you for having me, bro.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining, bro, as always. And Mr. Beard God, it's been good to catch up, bro. I know it's been a little bit. And what's coming up on the channel? Because I think when I checked today, you were like 820 subscribers, something like that.
Something
so you're
like
real
that,
close to 1,000. We got to get you to 1K.
Yeah, getting there.
We got to get you to 1K.
No, first and foremost, man, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure when I can come by and come hang out, man. Really appreciate it. What do we got? Thursday night, Uncivilized Scoundrels we got going on. So the Mandalorian season 3 is coming up Wednesday, man. So we're gonna sit down and express our thoughts on Thursday night to talk about it. So that's gonna be fun. LWO coming up on the channel. I think I'm trying to figure out when we're gonna do it. We might go live on Wednesday night, or we might just do a pre-recorded for Friday. We're just gonna pose up all night, So that's gonna be fun as well. And yeah, man, basically it. And do I got? Other than that, we'll see. Sometimes I'm on. Oh, half the crew flying out. LWO. We got Marco coming through.
Nice.
And Calvin's coming by. We're all. LWO, homie, a real place for collecting, bro. And we're gonna just take a big ass Disneyland trip, dude. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh,
dude.
nice, dude.
Well,
Well, I'm hoping
man.
Mario,
So
we can go
with the
to
boys.
Disney in July. That's yeah.
Hope
I
so,
would
man.
love to- yeah, I would love to do that. So maybe Riley can use a guest pass on me or something. I don't.
Let's go, bro. Maybe.
Yeah, 'cause-
Hey,
Well,
I've
I
been
think
going
Mario-
a lot. So yeah.
You don't get anything like that with the annual pass, do you? You don't get any guest passes, nothing like that.
No,
No,
but
I don't
we
think so.
we have ways of getting you in.
Dude, the weather's been
Okay.
terrible here though, so I haven't.
Yeah, we
gone
can get you in.
recently.
It's called you pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah,
there you go.
Riley-
It depends on who
Riley-
you know. It depends on who you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. We'll find ways. So Mario, thank you so much for joining, bro. Thanks to all these panel members. Thank you guys for engaging in the chat with us tonight. Enjoy The Last of Us this fine evening. I did an interview with Yost from JazzInc that I've referenced a few times. That's on the channel. Other things coming up here and there. These guys have great content, so go check them out. That said, guys, thank you so much for joining. We need to watch The Last of Us. Thank you. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.